digestive system. For this section, we are going to have to start talking about food, and it's probably going to make you hungry. So why don't we go ahead and quickly get through this section before you need to take a snack break. Now, food provides your body with minerals and nutrients that help you grow and help you repair your tissue. Food also provides energy that you need to live, and not just energy you need to run and play, but also even energy you need to sleep and maintain your body temperature. Food allows you to get the energy your body needs for all activities. Now, however, we know that certain foods have certain nutrients, and your body will break down these foods into nutrients. If a food has better quality for you and has more nutrients, like say oatmeal, it will allow your body to receive more energy than a bowl of like a high sugary cereal that might be full of marshmallows. So while they both sustain you and right away they go ahead and stop that hunger craving, by eating the oatmeal, you will now have more energy for an extended period of time and you won't get as hungry as fast. Now, let's talk about just eating and the digestive system in general. As soon as you take a bite of food, the food has begun its journey through your digestive system. The digestive system has three main functions. The first function is to break down the food into molecules that the body can use. The second function is to absorb these molecules into the blood and then carry it throughout the body for use. And then the final function is to eliminate any waste that were produced that your body doesn't need and get that waste out of the body. Now, to begin the digestive process, food enters your mouth. And here is where both mechanical and chemical digestion begin. The fluid released within your mouth is called saliva, and saliva plays an important role in both kinds of digestion. In mechanical digestion, your teeth are carrying out this stage, and it's cutting the food into bite-sized pieces. And while they're crushing and grinding the food, saliva is moistening the pieces of food into a slippery mass. Now, while this mechanical digestion is going on, chemical digestion is also working, and saliva is starting to break down starch molecules of the food into sugar molecules. Saliva is able to do this due to a chemical that digests starch called an enzyme, which are proteins that speed up chemical reactions in the body. Now, in the back of your mouth, there are two openings, and you may have realized this if you've ever took a drink of water and started choking, or maybe the food started getting caught and you said, oh, that went down the wrong pipe. Well, this is because when in the back of your mouth, you have one opening that leads to your windpipe, which carries air to your lungs, and one opening that leads to your esophagus, which carries food to your stomach. When you take a bite of food and swallow, a flap of tissue called the epiglottis will seal off your windpipe, hopefully preventing the food from entering. This is why they say don't talk with your mouth full, because if you're trying to talk and eat at the same time, then that epiglottis will open and maybe food will get pushed down there, and that's why you choke. Now, the food will continue down your esophagus, which is a muscular tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. And it's lined with a mucus, which is a thick, slippery substance that your body actually produces. Mucus helps make food easier to swallow and move down the tube. The esophagus is made up of smooth muscles, so when the food enters, then contractions of these smooth muscles will push the food toward the stomach. And these involuntary waves of muscle contractions are called peristalsis. When food leaves the esophagus and enters the stomach, the stomach is a J-shaped muscular pouch, and it's located in your abdomen. And in the stomach is where mechanical digestion and some chemical digestion occur on this food. Mechanical digestion occurs when strong layers of smooth muscles contract and it starts producing a churning motion to break down the food. Chemical digestion occurs when the food makes contact with digestive juices that are produced by the lining of your stomach. Digestive juices contain an enzyme called pepsin, which helps digest the proteins in your food, and it also contains hydrochloric acid, which is a strong acid that kills any bacteria, and it also helps the pepsin work more effectively. Now, food will remain in your stomach until all the solid material has been broken down into a liquid form, and this usually takes a few hours after you finish eating. Once the food is liquid, it is released into the next part of the digestive system, which is the small intestine. The small intestine is the part of the digestive system where most chemical digestion takes place. Well, why is it called the small intestine? Well, if you were to unravel a small intestine, it would be about 6 meters long or about 20 feet long. So that's not small at all, is it? But the small intestine actually gets its name because it is named for its small diameter, which is 2 to 3 centimeters wide or about an inch wide, which is about half the diameter of the large intestine. Now, when the liquefied food reaches the small intestine, almost all chemical digestion and absorption of nutrients from that food takes place. The structure of the small intestine makes it very well suited for absorption, and this is because the inner surface or the lining of the small intestine is bumpy. And it's bumpy because there are millions of tiny finger-shaped structures called villi that cover the surface. The villi absorb nutrient molecules, and because of these finger-like projections, they greatly increase the surface area of the small intestine. In actuality, if all the villi were laid out flat, the total surface area of the small intestine would be about as large as a tennis court. Now, once in the small intestine, the food mixes with enzymes and secretions that are produced by the small intestine, the liver, and the pancreas. Both the liver and the pancreas will deliver substances to the small intestine through small tubes. The pancreas is an organ that has a triangular shape, and it lies between the stomach and the first section of the small intestine. The pancreas helps the digestive system by producing an enzyme that flows into the small intestine and helps break down starches, proteins, and fats. Another organ that plays a role in the digestive system is the liver, and it is located in the upper right portion of your abdomen. It is the largest organ inside the body. The liver does more for the body than just digestion, but in the role of the digestive process, the liver produces bile. Bile is a substance that breaks up fat particles, and it flows from the liver into the gallbladder. The gallbladder then will store this bile, so that way after you eat, bile will pass through a tube from the gallbladder into the small intestine and start working. And it's easy to picture bile kind of like dish soap working on a greasy pan. Bile actually physically breaks up large fat particles into smaller fat droplets, and then these droplets can be easily broken down by enzymes produced in the pancreas. Now, once the food passes through the small intestine, most of the nutrients that your body needs have been absorbed. The remaining material will move into the large intestine now and will actually be consumed by bacteria in your gut. These are not the bacteria that make you sick, but these are bacteria that your body actually needs, and they help make certain vitamins. The large intestine is the last section of the digestive system, and it's about 1.5 meters long, or about the length of an average bathtub. From this image, you can see that it runs up the right-hand side of the abdomen, across the upper abdomen, and then down the left-hand side. Now, as material moves through the intestine, water is absorbed into your bloodstream. Any remaining material that has not been absorbed by your body gets ready to be eliminated from your body, meaning urine and feces. Once the material reaches the end of the large intestine, that waste goes into a short tube called the rectum, and here the waste material is compressed into a solid form. This is where waste material is eliminated from the body through the anus, which is a muscular opening at the end of the rectum. Well, maybe it's time for a bathroom break. Haha, never mind. Why don't you go ahead, take a break, and it's time for you to show what you know.